When civilization sunk beneath the seven seas, deep forest spread across the 5 remaining islands. Only the chosen ones escaped the waters in their castle stronghold. Eventually, the waves overtook even the last 5 islands, and the castle was all that remained. After the passing of ages, the people of the floating castle chose to descend upon their mother soil. These are the chronicles of the land of Hyligard. Hey there everyone, this is Liferake. Welcome to my playthrough of Etrian Odyssey Untold 2, the Fafnir Knight. Sometimes also referred to as Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold, the Fafnir Knight, or just Etrian Odyssey Untold, the Fafnir Knight. How you place the two doesn't seem to matter. So, that out of the way, let's get started. Alright, so we'll be beginning a new game. I'm going to turn all these off. Imitate the fact that I'm starting from scratch. So we hit the game start button, yes. And then it's going to ask us to select our game mode. So there's 2 game modes, there's story and there's classic. Story allows you to play with a fixed party, with a story, and that's really nice and all. But after the first time, I don't really enjoy it. So if you haven't played the story before, play that first. If you haven't played the story before, go to classic mode, because you're going to have way more fun trying wacky builds than playing with the Fafnir, which just annihilates things on itself. So, go over to the classic mode, because that allows me to play with the toys that I want to play with. Then it lets you select the difficulty. So the difficulties are pretty straightforward. You got easier than easy, you got hard, and you got lunatic. Pick this one. And then if you find this too hard, you go down to standard, and you stay there. Alright, and the difficulty can be changed later, which is why I say start here, then go down here if you think it's too hard. Or if you think it's going to be too hard from the start, you can start from standard. I'm not the boss, so, you know, pick what you want. I'm going to go ahead and pick the level 1 file, because that's just funny. And, I mean, if I'm not passing down anything, it doesn't matter which save file I pick. So, the story is, we are a bunch of losers, or maybe not losers. We want to come down here and make advancements on a thing nobody else has managed to make advancements on. Pretty straightforward so far. Entrepreneurs. Good start. Then it's going to say that we're going to want to go to the Explorers Guild and get a name for ourselves. And then it's going to tell us what DLC I have. Then after you hit the A button about 12 times, get into the Explorers Guild. We're going to be met by a person named Marion. Yes, I have. Alright, we will do that. I'm not going to read all the text. I assume you have eyes and can read.
Well, it's the first day of the new year. Shall we commemorate it?
Sounds good to me. Let's do it. Alright. Write the desired name on the line. Make sure the city will welcome new guilds with open arms. Okay! So we get to make a game. Make sure not offend people, don't call your names something stupid and silly, because other people can see it, blah blah blah, all standard Nintendo stuff. We will be going in this for Zarian. If I did this for any other guild name, it just would not be for Zarian. Never heard of that name before, something foreign, a little bit foreign, kind of Russian. Aside from that, registered guild, register yourself, so you can roleplay if you want to, but you don't have to. You have 25 members, have fun. Alright, so you get 25 members, that's a lot of members. There's also 14 classes. That's a lot of classes. You can almost make 2 of every class. Almost. That'd be 28 people instead of 25. But anyways, yeah, you got a lot of classes. The Highlander classes DLC. So you start with 13 classes otherwise. That's a lot of classes. I'll be honest. Like, how is anyone going to decide amongst all of these? Well, it's a little straightforward. There are 2 tanks in this entire list, and you probably want one of them. The Protector and the Beast are your tanks of choice. If you want a tank, you pick one of them. My name's Liferake. I'm crazy. I'm going to go with neither of them. I'm going to skip the tank. If you're new to the game, I highly recommend not skipping the tank. So you got a lot of choices for how you want to distribute damage. It's really nice. Some are really good at doing it in some ways other than others. Some of them want to be more combo-y. Some of them are very simplistic. I'm going to start by picking up the Lanchknecht, a very basic offensive unit that is also a little bit tanky on its own, has the ability to wear shields and heavy armor. Very nice starting pick for a hero, and her name is Gandra, as it always is. That is not how you spell Gandra. Excuse me as I go fix this horrible, horrible mistake. Okay, so the second class I'm going to pick for offensive is Dark Hunter. Dark Hunter is very good on the offense because of their ability to do an insane amount of damage in one attack. And this is fairly important because a lot of the bosses have a lot of health. So having a character that's capable of dealing a large burst of damage at once proves very useful, and the Dark Hunter does that fairly well. Usually I pick Eric here, which may be familiar if you've watched my other series on Etrian Odyssey 2, but I think this time around I'm going to be picking the pink hair. My words are failing on me. I'm going to be picking the pink hair twin drill character. I usually call her Rose, but in this case I think I'm going to call her Teto.
That's all the people. Was there anyone else? Then let's continue.
And now, so now I have my two primary damage dealers down. That's pretty nice. So now I'm going to want a little bit of support to go on with that, and support comes in the form of healing. There are two major healers you want to be aware of, the Medic and the War Maggots. Now, here's a little bit of advice from me. If you're going for healing, I highly recommend the War Maggots because you also get the buffs at the same time. If you're picking Troubadour as one of your other members, though, ignore the War Maggots, because you don't really want the buffs to stack this awkwardly. And pick the Medic instead, because the Medic Troubadour synergy in this game is stupid insane, and by stupid insane I mean stupid good, because I love medics. I love combat medics, I love the idea of them, it combos very well with the Troubadour class as I mentioned, and I'm going to be having a Troubadour on this team. This is Linda. I actually kind of like the EO1 portrait a little bit better, so we're going to do that one. So when you're picking portraits, I have I think it might have been a DLC, I don't remember. I have access to EO1 portraits and a little bit of bonus portraits. So sometimes you're going to see me pick a bonus portrait, sometimes you're going to see me pick the EO1 portrait, sometimes you're going to see me pick the EO2 portrait, which is what these portraits are. Except for the silly thing down here, which happens to have the EO3 portraits, because that's just awesome. Like, are you really going to argue with EO3 portraits? Those things are great. Anyhow, sorry, I got a little bit off topic there. I have a strange affinity and love for the Sovereign class, even though I'm not putting it in the initial party. I'm gonna pick up a Troubadour. Name's Flora. I have her all the time. She's great. She's just cheery, does everything, just put the buffs on people. And Troubadours in this game, a little busted, just a little bit. Which is also another reason why I like using them. Because they're a little busted, just a little bit. And then finally, I'm going to pick up the Survivalist. Now, I may want to consider picking up an Alchemist or a Gunner due to the elemental attacks that can be accompanied with them. I do have a Troubadour for granting elements, though, so I'm not too worried about having elemental attacks. So, I'm going to skip on the Alchemist and the Gunner, even though there might have been better choices, for a more versatile class, more supportive class, the Survivalist. I'm going to be picking this portrait. Her name is Venus, because she reminds me of our hot planet next door. It's probably all the yellow, and the fact that she's hot. Alright, so that's our team. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, we good. For now, I kind of wanted to keep this short, so let's go over to the Duke's Palace.
I bid you welcome to the Grand Duchy of High-Lacan. Within this palace, the Duke himself presides over our fair nation. I am Minister Dubois, vassal to the esteemed Duke. I am charged with the governance of High-Lacan.
Alright, so this is Minister Dubois. He's pretty nice guy. He's the one who's going to pretty much fund your entire expedition. Not really, but he does give a lot of money out for completing his rewards. For now, we have to become a citizen in order to explore past the first floors, so he's giving us an introductory mission to do just that. Ultimate aim is to find the floating castle of legend, the castle that I referred to at the very beginning. More on that later. I mean, the poem I gave out at the beginning is the same one that was given at the beginning of the game in Etrian Odyssey 2, but I decided to recite it at the beginning of this game because I didn't want to really do the story intro. Anyhow, that got a little bit off the rail. We are going to go, accept the mission. So this is going to fill on the bottom screen, which is really nice. Essential for Mag Maps. He wants us to bring a token back as a way to prove that we've done it before, and he wants us to show the map. Alright, so we can do that. And he gives you the Labyrinth map, which fills in your bottom screen with this. What can you do with this? Nothing yet. Don't worry about it. We'll be covering map making later. This is the preparations episode. We're not even going to step foot inside the labyrinth today. We're just going to get prepared, learn the team, and do stuff like that. So I'm going to pretty quickly go through the custom menu and the skills. I'm not going to heavily explain them now. I might later. But I'm mostly, because I already know what I want to do, I'm just going to punch these skills in and just move on. So I usually like getting Raging Edge to 3 at the start. Like getting Sword Mastery up to 1, and then start working on Curve Mastery to get the more likely status conditions. Fairly nice. Then we're going to move over to our Medic, which has to have a healing skill to start with. And then we're going to want some TP on top of that. So Staff Mastery can supply that, as well as a little bit of attack up, which is fairly nice. Then we move over to our Buffer, for which we are obviously going to want some buffs to start to toy with. And then we're going to ignore those things and go straight for TP up because Holy Gift is so good. Then we're going to pick up on Venus, who's going to pick up Bow Mastery and start working on some offensive skills. And mostly just going to work our way straight towards Drop Shot as fast as we can. I know that was a very loose definition and you probably got nothing out of it, but for now, the point of most early game skill building is to have something you can use right away. Something cheap that you can use a lot. That's the idea. You don't want to go for your endgame strategy right away. You can rest for it or do whatever you need to get there, but start small so that you're actually capable of beating the monsters without getting your ass whooped because you don't have enough skill points and the proper skills yet. Alright, finally we have shopping. Okay, so we have shopping trip and then we go to the inn. So, I'm teaching a lot of the town's basic functions in this episode. This is the shop. This is Abigail. I've met her before. Father's shop. She's assistant here. We will not forget about you, because you are way too important to forget about. So Abigail sells stuff. You are able to sell stuff, and you're able to switch between your party members as you're buying stuff. And this is all fairly important, and I kind of just glossed over it. So, you can buy weapons. I have 2 sword users, 2 bow users, and a person who swings a stick around. So, I'm going to want 2 swords, probably going to skip the staff, and 2 bows. I could probably get away with not giving the Kukuri to Gandra. Alright, that gives me 200, technically 230, to work with on giving armor. If you have money left over, and you have a protector or a beast, if you have a protector, make absolutely sure that you buy the shield. It's fairly important that you buy that. It's only one of the best defensive items you can get in the early game, and you probably want it on someone. Speaking of it, we're probably going to put it on Gandra because I have the money. Alright, and then I have 185 left, so kind of want, because this is expert difficulty and I have no tank, I have to invest more on armor than I do on offense. And that's just smart. That's just smart thinking is what that is. So let's get leaf sandals for everyone as a bare minimum, except for her. So let's get leaf sandal. Then we can focus on getting bigger armor for the 2 people in the front who haven't gotten armor yet, so let's grab the thick gauges. And then I'm going to buy an extra Medica, probably? Because I have money left over. Alright, that concludes our shopping trip. Now, the last important function I'm going to cover today is the inn, because it's where you save your game, and where you do outros. Also intros. This is Hannah. No need for formalities, everyone does okay. Here, you can save the game. So next time, I'm going to be entering the labyrinth, and we're going to learn all about mapping, exploring, getting killed by monsters, and then killing the monsters after we learn how to get killed by monsters. So, hey everyone, this has been Ivory always, and thank you for watching. Next time we will be entering the dungeon proper. I'm going to see you guys then. Bye-bye.